Hey everybody, welcome to G for G on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Iron Maiden Legacy, the Beast, and we're going through some of the summer updates that have happened in this game, including a new dungeon that is out today. So one of the first things that has changed is the PvP season or the PvP style has drastically changed from what it used to be. It used to be kind of a random setup of teams that you've got. Now you tend to get paired up with people around your actual main level, and that has created a situation for me where it sort of looks like I've sandbagged, but not intentionally. This is my main arena team over here, but it's not my defense, and it's created this situation where my rocket dog pretty much just one-shots everything. And it seems like my arena team has not taken any defenses at all since the new PvP situation. And that's probably because they so outclass a lot of what is out there. It was just never really on purpose. I mean, I could just hit auto at this point in time. And there goes Rocket Dog this thing. There he is. Rocket Dog has always been one of my favorites for a long time. And for the most part, a lot of my favorite characters have never really fallen out of favor with me, except for the healing dog. He used to be there as my main healer way back in the beginning of the game, and I don't use him or her anymore. But yeah, so this is what I'm paired up against, and this is unfortunately not fair for these people. And I really should start running the gamut over here. I never really do. I just kind of do my one for the daily and get out. But I probably, since I can win everything on auto at this point, should go through my 5 or whatever. My defense last went 27 days ago, and that was the old style. And as you can see, it's been paired up with hundreds and 70s. There's a 46. There was a victory over a month ago. Paya 23, who shouldn't have taken me on. Somebody was probably just trying to get a daily over there. So, I mean, that's the star levels that my defense, which is this team over here, has been taking. She's really, really good. That Assassin Shinobi. It's pretty phenomenal. The gauntlet, the top prize right now is Wraithchild. And again, I kind of need to go through my gauntlets. I'm very spotty when I do gauntlets, and I usually get up there fairly high. This is a game that unfortunately with Marvel Strike Force and Future Fight and DC Legends doesn't quite get the time love for me that it really should, but it is a lot of fun, and they've been doing a lot of updates lately. Occasionally the game kind of stagnates, and then there's a burst of activity. So I'm allowed in Night City now. However, allowed in and being successful in it is two very, very different things. This first one right over here, past the story, not even close. Like, I mean, I'm going in there with 100s and full stars and pretty decent loadouts, and I am definitely getting my shit pushed in. But so there is my classic Eddie. Of course, they have the revamp now with the tour shirt, and he could probably stand to maybe have a few abilities more maxed. And actually, I was using, because that first level is mostly reds, I was using Edward the Great, and he was, when I switched to him, he was actually doing very well. But my team was still just getting clobbered. So my Edward the Great is probably my top blue right now, and it's the main Eddie and Edward the Great that are definitely my main Eddies. Wickerman Eddie used to be a main Eddie way back in the day, but he's fallen off, and I occasionally bring Pharaoh when I need his buffs. Soldier Eddie used to like a long time ago, really haven't made much use of them. But my Viking Eddie is also fairly up there as a green. I like the 666 on the shield. Got a Vampire Hunter Eddie. Samurai Eddie I picked up somewhat recently, and I probably should build him because I've seen some ridiculously powerful Samurai Eddies. I just haven't had that much time. Seven Son Eddie is got a special place in my heart because this was the first Iron Maiden album that I ever got into, and it was the song Can I Play With Madness that was really the first Maiden song that I ever heard and liked it so much, and that's really what got me into Maiden. So I picked up Seventh Son, went backwards to Somewhere in Time, and then started going forward into like Fear of the Dark and everything, but I'm only a Bruce Dickinson Maiden fan. I don't like it if anybody else is singing for them, including the very, very original one. Have no idea who Benjamin Brieg is. Speed of Light Eddie. I think there is a Somewhere in Time Eddie, but I don't have him. If I remember correctly, I think he's a gunner, and he has like a pistol in his hand. I haven't picked him up yet. I pick up Speed of Light Eddies as duplicates all the time. There's Crusader Eddie, and this is pretty much one of my main dudes. I have to thank Ancient Ree, which was a friend of mine in Marvel Avengers Alliance. He used to run his Child of the Damned as his guest when you would pull in his assist. And I was like, oh man, I love this guy's Child of the Damned, and I finally got one, and I built him up. I guess really what I have to do is max out these talismans to be competitive in those. There's my Rocket Dog. Been a mainstay for a while. Krampus. I love Krampus. Phenomenal damage from him. And he usually weakens somebody for the Child of the Damned to put him away. I also have a fairly high Lady Azov and a Coco Shinobi Bandit. My Desert Marauder used to be part of my main line as a very, very high damager with his shoot ability. He's fallen off. And I kind of really like Sirius the Cosmic Wolf. I've had him for some time now. He was recently as an offer in the store where you could get a 3-star Sirius, and he's a very unique model in this game, and I think he's pretty cool. I like him. And then my Undead Rescuer was somebody I also used to use, but don't use nearly as much anymore. He used to be my mainline healer, and then Wicker Dog of Night was my healer way back in the beginning of the game. But I've got some pretty decent characters now at this point. The Priestesses, I've probably completed that collection. The Valkyrie Sirens, I've pretty much completed them. I have more dams, but I don't use them. There's a green Valkyrie. Derby Demon, she's somebody I picked up recently. I don't know anything about her. I never run into her in PvP. I haven't looked into her that much, so I don't know if she's any good. Banshee's somebody that I picked up recently and don't know much about. There's a green Shinobi. I call these the light bulbs. They're the corrupt rescuers. There's a red Shinobi, a red Priestess, a green Banshee, a green Priestess, my blue Crimean Soldier, my blue Siren, my Gunner Shinobi, and then mostly everything down here is just kind of nothing. I keep the Festive Wicker Deer simply because he was a Christmas one. So I'm gonna jump in the new dungeon here in just a moment, just getting rid of some of my daily items that I've got to do over here. A lot of times when I know I'm going to bounce what I've got as a summon and sacrifice them, I'll grab... Ooh, okay, cool. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I try to get my summons up to at least a level 2 when I sacrifice them. I'd love to pick up a Somewhere in Time Eddie at one point, because that's another one of my favorite Iron Maiden albums. Early on in college, when I was a budding guitar player, my mentor taught me that opening riff to Somewhere in Time wears down your hands a little bit to play that, but that is definitely a fun intro to play on guitar. So this may be the end of an era here in terms of videos, because this is probably, or hopefully, the last video that I'm filming on the Beast, which is currently my main box. And even though the video cards have been upgraded over the year and the RAM has been upgraded, the Beast has kind of been in place for a long time now. Maybe slightly under a decade, and it's time for it to go. So it's going to get replaced by this box over here. As you can see, it's going to have, it originally was not going to have water cooling, but it is now. So I had a build in place, and I took it to Intrex so that I didn't mess anything up doing the build myself. And it was getting kind of complicated, so they talked me out of the original motherboard that I had and up to one that I'll show you in a moment, and the water cooling. They're like, with your chip you're going to get some heavy thermal throttling. So we've got the water cooler and the LED fans up there with the radiator. We've got the LED controls down here. And so ignore the prices on this, because I didn't get it for these prices. I definitely mixed and matched things a little bit to keep the build down cheap, but then when I wound up going for the water cooling and the different motherboard, almost everything that I saved by kind of eBaying things a little bit was thrown out the window. So it's going to be an i9 9900K. It's going to be an octa-core. So the one that I have right now is a quad, and the one that I had before it was a duo, a Core 2 duo. So this is going to be pretty major leap, and the heat this thing throws is why I got talked into the water cooling going. That's the liquid cooler that I've got, which is the Cooler Master, the RGB. So there's going to be RGB controls for a lot of things in this new box. It's going to have the there's going to be control over the top fans for the water cooling. I had a different motherboard in place, but then they said, you know, this one's going to thermal throttle a lot. You need some bigger fins for the heat it's going to throw. And I really don't believe I got upsell on this one. I do believe it. A lot of the research that I've done supports what they've said. So I'm going with the Gigabyte Z390 Gaming. I was going to use the RAM in my current computer, but I was like, yeah, that's slower RAM, and this is going to be such an RGB heavy box. Why not pick up some Corsair RGB 16 gigs, a 860 Evo 1 terabyte, and probably one or two. It's going to be the OS drive, because the data drive is going to be an 8 terabyte drive that was originally rated for a RAID array and a Synology, but it's going to be my data drive. This is going to house probably one or two of my most active games at the time, so WoW will be on there, and probably Overwatch. And maybe not Heroes of the Storm, but I may keep all of my Blizzard ones in the same area, and then a lot of the Steam games will be on the 8 terabyte drive. The RTX 2070, which was purchased like just a few days before the Supers came out. The Rosewill Cullinan case, which has some of its own RGB on it. And again, it was going to move the power supply over from my main, which I think is an 800 watt, and I decided to go with getting it a separate one, because this wasn't that expensive for me to get off of eBay. And it allows me to both have the former Beast is going to be my secondary computer. It's going to be nice to have a very functional secondary one instead of a laptop, which can get bogged down at times. And that one, the Beast, is going to be in the secondary, and the new one, aka, which is going to be New Hotness, after what Will Smith says in the second Men in Black, when he's like, you drive the old busted joint, I drive the New Hotness. That line has always stuck with me as a really funny line, so that's New Hotness, and it's built and it's ready. It's just downstairs, not connected to the net. We're rearranging the office in here, and once the desks are rearranged, this is coming up. What you can't see down there is the gigabit on the motherboard is lit up. The fan has controls on the case itself, and I've gotten them to spin. Haven't seen the LEDs quite yet, but sometimes I've heard that usually pops under load. So, anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this new dungeon, which Night City, pox on you. Not even going to be able to do that. As you can see, Wicker Man's done all the way on Madness, Kingdom of the Sands, Hard. So, I mean, I could blow through all of these if I actually took the time to do it. And, of course, the Clairvoyant is given quests now, too. So, let's see, 2, 4... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, that one. Nomad. Did she mean... What did she mean by that? Oh, there it is. Okay. It's not really 4. So, I mean, she gives you kind of these starter ones that if you're a vet, you can just blow through them. So, to get to the new area, go to Time Rift. And then here it is, Amazing Flight. So, for my Lord of Light over here, I have cleared a 10. And most of the way that I clear my Lord Dungeons is I use one of Agent Ree's guys along with mine, and have generally been able to go through the upper levels using his. And wait a minute. Sometimes the back disappears in this game, but yeah, you can just do that. Alright, so Amazing Flight. Usually with these, the easy is super easy, and then I think the hard I can usually do, and Madness tends to be where I grind to a halt a little bit. So, whoa, hey, what? I have an Icarus? Well, I don't own an Icarus. It's giving me an Icarus for this. And it's giving me a... Okay. I will keep them in there. That's fine. Let me take him out and throw Rocket Dog in there, because Rocket Dog will probably mop up. And I'm not going to burn one of my good assists over here. You know, it's funny, in the world of the DC games and the Marvel games and everything like this, Iron Maiden Legacy THEBEAST kind of goes unsung in that crowd, but I think a lot of former Marvel Avengers Alliance guys would have really liked this game if they ever gave it a chance. But I think part of the problem was, right when MAA first died, this game was a little on the stagnant side. Like, it did not have much in the way of updates for a while. Like, the base game was out there, and you could have definitely spent a lot of time going through the base game, and you would have had a lot to do. But I even commented, like, right at the time, I was like, man, I've been playing this game for a bit, and I haven't seen anything new, and there's a lot of these things that say that they're locked, like PvP and the other worlds. So I was like, is this just going to be a dead game? And it really is a shame if anybody thought that, because it's not a dead game. It's progressing, and it's got a lot of activity right now, because Maiden's out on tour. So, Icarus. Foolish Pride. Deals magic damage to all enemies, inflicts magic burns, steals a beneficial effect, including Goldens. Now, I will say that for anybody with So this is Daedalus. Mad Mind deals physical damage to a single target. Gain a random defensive beneficial buff on self one turn. Grant a random offensive benefit. Alright. I will say that this game, by nature, is a little bit easier to play on touch devices than it is through emulation. The reason being is some abilities require fast tapping to be bumped up. And that gets a little tough if you're just using a mouse. But you can hold your mouse in place and just slam on that left click, and you'll get it done. But it does, unlike, say, Strike Force and DC Legends, it does play into the touch a little bit better. Future Fight is another one that just plays into touch better, mostly because of the movement. But a lot of emulators, what people do is they'll set up binds to emulate the touch movement and the multiple abilities in the lower right corner. And I'm telling you, man, I have fought some Icaruses and PvPs that are just cocks. Icarus is such a pain in the ass. I think there was even one in like a dungeon one time or something, like one of these event dungeons that was just so tough. He reses, and let's see if his remove perfect immunity and all beneficial effects on all enemies for 2. Revive with perfect immunity and invincibility on self. Yeah, that's what it was. You have to steal that. If you go up against Icarus, it's one of the things you have to do. Daedalus, Wings of Ash, grants immunity to perfect corruption, physical burn, and toxic burn effects to all allies. Inflicts a random number, type, and duration of burn effects on all enemies after each action. Ooh, that seems spicy. His 6th energy ability, remove immunity effects, including vanish and perfect immunity. Blind and silence, grant... I like that ability. That's tough. That's some good stuff right there. So he just gave me 100% critical strike chance. Ooh, Rocket Dog is gonna enjoy the shit out of that. So Icarus has been around for a while, but Daedalus seems to be pretty new. He's probably tied to the event. You know, I always used to say, in regards to Marvel Avengers Alliance, that Playdom did such a good job with that game in terms of the writing and the characters and bringing out and just designing gear. Really, that's the biggest one. I mean, the characters in a lot of ways write themselves because it was done by Marvel before them. And even if they don't take a 100% perfect plot point from a character, they have a box. You know, Puzzling Soul. You know, Marvel provided them with a box in which to operate. I mean, say, like the Runaways, like, say, Nico and everything like that. They don't have to think too hard on what they're going to do with Nico because it was done for them in a certain way. By the way, interesting thing, if you watch the Runaways on Hulu, which I have to watch Season 2, and Season 3 is going to have a crossover with Cloak and Dagger, which is amazing. One of the changes that they said they had to take out was the fact that Niku doesn't cut herself to bleed to use the powers of her staff, which, if you think of a PG-ish show, that kind of makes a lot of sense, but you sort of forget that when it comes to Marvel. But anyway, if you compare it to this game, certain characters in here definitely have lore through Iron Maiden songs, but they're mentioned like they had to create this whole universe of Iron Maiden characters. And I mean, yes, the Clairvoyant is mentioned in songs and everything, and that's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. But you know, other than like Clairvoyant and the Beast and some of these others, the Eddies are definitely mentioned from albums and everything like that. But these characters, the people behind this game invented things that would work for Iron Maiden, but they don't necessarily have lore behind them, and that's really cool that they were able to come up with that kind of stuff. And I hate the fact that my talisman inventory is this full at this point, because then I start having to make really tough decisions. I want to always make sure I have enough for a set, and I try to get rid of ones that have crappy stats. Heal skills, so that's a 3. I don't want to break up a 3. And if you notice that most of my talismans are fairly good at this point, I don't have that many crap talismans anymore. Except hit points. Alright. We'll get rid of some of these. Hit points and special, hit points and special. Hit point magic is different. Alright, so you guys can go too. And I mean, I skipped the talisman cache in the skull quests because of the fact that, like, my talisman inventory is so full. I hate being forced into those decisions all the time. But alright, here we go. So once again, I'm going to go with a lower friend over here and save the better summons for the higher ones. And I'm thinking this is going to be the last of the easy ones for me, and then it's going to start getting tough after this. And I'm not above using Ironite to continue. But I mean, here they're using Greek and Roman lore for the Minotaur and everything, so I mean, that is a story that somewhat writes itself, but and obviously Daedalus and Icarus are from the same lore, but I mean, you're bringing Greek and Roman lore into the world of Iron Maiden, which is pretty cool. And wow, they get to go first, these jackasses. My Daedalus is almost dead. Alright, so I'm gonna switch to the future and grab Eddie's heal mode here. And he gets a free turn, so let's hit everybody. Rocket Dog should probably wipe this. Oh, still some people living. Of course, the Icarus and the Daedalus don't have any talismans, so they're going to be weaker than the rest of the team. But they're still getting it done. It's interesting to see their wings flap in unison side by side. I'm going to open up with Rocket Dog on this one. They took that pretty well. No real weaknesses over here. Let's see if Daedalus gets things done. Oh, that is a lot of magic burns, but that round is over. Alright, so we're on 3 out of 5. Kind of paying attention to the story. And they have a Sirius. Except the Gunner version. Wow, there's another version of Sirius. That's cool. I like that thumbnail over there. I would, if I could grab a hold of that dog, I would definitely grab that one too. So Rocket Dog did a pretty decent opener. I'm going to go red on red here. Heal all allies. Alright, let's do that. Let's go for that guy. Alright, some good buffs. And he got an extra turn out of it. Alright. We are definitely in some very healthy shape now at this point. We've brought Daedalus back from the brink to full. So we've got these guys over here, the Soulless Demons. Occasionally these guys can put out some pretty decent DPS, but they're usually not much to write home about. Let's go over to Eddie's AoE. Still haven't pulled up an invincibility though. And I think Daedalus should probably wipe this one. Yep. It's not so much Daedalus' direct damage as it seems to be the aftermath that really gets it. So we've got some Owl Cultists, and we've got the Minotaur, and he's going to be weak to my main Eddie, so let's just do the ultimate. Not much to write home about on that one. Let's try to get rid of... Yeah, let's see if we can get rid of some of those buffs. Steal one beneficial effect. Let's see if we can steal some of what's on the Minotaur. No, nothing going there. Remove immunity effects. Let's try this. Oof, oof. Painful damage. Wow. Is Daedalus going to be able to carry the day here? I don't think so. That's surprising. Everything was very well handled and it just went to complete shit over there. Let's see. Alright, yeah. See, I wanted to go with Daedalus first to see if I could get some buffs before Eddie did an ultimate. Yeah, see, the damage is much different that time because of the buffs on Eddie. Yeah, we expected the Minotaur to come back. A green on green crime there to end it. Wow. Not really too sure how we all blew up like that. Gee, Ricky, I'm sorry your mom blew up like that. That's cool that they have the Icarus and the Daedalus flanking on the victory like that. Alright, let's open some of these puzzling souls over here. And we'll probably call it there. Yeah, 5 stars. Oh, and they drop out. Okay. So you're going to be on your own on this one. But let's see what they would have. So it's going to be 5 waves. Flight of Icarus, Eddie. So they got an Eddie out on the field. Wow. I mean, my levels beat them. So, alright. Let's just compare their Eddie to mine. So, 769 attack. 769 magic. Alright, definitely beat him on attack. Not magic, but that Eddie is not a magic one. Defense is 679 and 501. Yikes, see, he clobbers my defense. Magic resistance, 757, plus 1290. Man, it's like not even close over there. Let's compare one of the standard mobs to mine. So, 846 and 1359 attack. Still beats me. But let's add in what I would consider some of my best over here. Oh, there you go. See, that Child of the Damned would get it done. He's really built for one purpose, and that's smashing face. Even my Krampus, 1464 and 672. It's still very close, though. I mean, it's like they're wearing talismans. This wave would probably be pretty easy. Owl Cultists are not much to write home about. They had a Minotaur over here. Oof. Ooh. Almost 3k attack. And nearly 3k magic. Wow. Perfect force shield to each ally for 2 turns at the start of battle. Yikes. That's probably what happened. I think we blew up a Minotaur shield. Healing on a basic attack. That's tight. Yeah, these desert golems, they don't do much. They're serious. Hey, there he is. So he has taunt and heal block. Removing negative effects from allies and regen. And he removes beneficial effects at the start. That's part of the reason why I like Sirius. And then here is an Assassin Minotaur whose attack is not very high. Actually, this guy doesn't seem that tough compared to the rest of the things going on. It's his hit points. Oh, Doom on a basic? And an extra turn. Man, that's tough. He's got really good passers for somebody that probably isn't really that strong, and these trolls have a passive. Full heal and immunity to any... Oh. That's gonna be... Yeah, that's a really, really tough wave over there. But hey, let's take a look at some of these souls, even though I've summoned already for the day. Nope. Nope. Man, get those new ones up there. Hate when you have to go digging way down to find the new ones. Puzzling soul. Well, we didn't get the red eyes. That's gonna be a sacrifice. But he does steal beneficial effects. Let's do one more. Nope, no red eyes again. So you can tell how good your summons are going to be based on the animation when you are turning it in. God, you get those during the month. Well, looks like we're in for a second sacrifice for the day. You go bye-bye, and you go bye-bye. See, I hate that. Oh well, we at least reach one. I tend not to sacrifice unless I can reach 2 or higher. And sometimes I'll even throw some extra summons in just to meet the sacrifice levels. One thing I admit I don't do too often is I need to burn those keys for that dungeon. Gold Frontier, common, daily challenge dungeon unlocked for 8 hours, 3 attempts, play to earn Ironite. And I hate when the fragments are lit up, but I don't have enough to cash out. I guess it happens sometimes when I get new fragments for things that I haven't had. Minotaur Soul. That would be nice. I would like to build towards that and get one of those. They do seem pretty strong. Oh, I have gone through one of these. I wonder what the madness is like. Probably tough. Wow. Yeah. It's just... the fact that you can't quick run ones that you've done before kind of blows. But, let's see. Oh, that's right. I forgot they had a limited selection. I wonder what the limit is. See, I'm not too sure why I have the restrictions here. Like, my Edward Eddy, my King Edward Eddy is not available. And the the Pharaoh one is not available. Let's do that. Rocket Dog, her. And we'll bring the Rescuer in case we need some healing. Apparently I have gone through this dungeon at least somewhat before. I've just completely forgotten it. Angel and Gambler Eddies. Interesting. I like the Rescuer. I know I haven't used him in a while, but he's always put in some pretty good work for me. And that, watch the Shinobi go. Like, it doesn't seem at first that she's doing good damage, but she really buffs the team very well. And of course, if the volume is up, you have good Iron Maiden music in the background, and if you've been a fan of theirs throughout the years, it's always nice to hear the music change as you go into different modes and see if you recognize the music for it. As a matter of fact, I think I know the song that is playing in the background right now. Yep, I know that. Unfortunately, I can't turn it up too high because then sometimes they'll try and pop the audio. Thanks, YouTube. Alright, let's see. How many more waves we gotta do? Alright, 2 more after this one. Rocket Dog is doing some pretty good damage on these guys. Hearing Iron Maiden music for me always brings back such memories of acid-washed denim and denim jackets. And working at the McDonald's that I worked at as a kid and going to parties where Iron Maiden music was always getting played. And Metallica's Justice for All and Ride the Lightning. I actually didn't get that into Megadeth at the time, though. I didn't have that much exposure to them. I got into Megadeth more in college, and that started with Rust in Peace, with whichever was the album that had Hangar 18. That's when I got into them. And then, of course, the album right after it with Countdown to Extinction, Symphony of Destruction, Train of Consequences. After that. Alright, Boss Wave. What does he have on him? Heal Shield and a perfect health. Alright, let's have Rocket Dog do some weakening here. Oof. This... Let's buff up Eddie right as he does his ultimate and see the kind of damage I can put out here. Okay. It's okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Got some blocked revives going on here now. Pretty low damage that I'm putting down on these guys here. Rocket Dog did a good one on that. Let's see what buff she's got on. She's got a trap. Alright, well, the main guy's dead. And there we go. Took out his little underlings. Dungeon over. Rare soul, gold key, soul fragments, gold, sands of war. Alright, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. That's what we've got for the summer updates. Scary little guys here. Gemini, Pollux, Castor and Pollux. Face Off. John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Gold idols as mobs. See, even these guys, like, this is sell for gold, and they're still pulling in like a 22, 2300 attack over there. And again, if we compare it to, say, Rocket Dog, I mean, it's like 1.7k over there. Yeah, Desert Marauders has pretty decent damage. He's got a very high base damage for somebody who's considered an ability disabler and not attack. But alright, there we go. If you haven't tried this game out and you are a fan of the turn-based RPG types and everything, definitely give it a shot. Again, I recommend trying to do this more on a touchscreen than an emulator, as it does get a little bit tough to do some aspects of it on a emulator. But you know, if you don't mind beating the crap out of your left click a little bit, then you can still go ahead and do it on an emulator. And I will just do my talisman update over here. I think really what it is that I have to work more on evolving these talismans. Is probably where the weakness in my stats lay, and where my teams begin to fall down in being competitive at some of these higher dungeons. But I still have a level of fun out of the game that I'm happy with, and I'm not depressed about, except for Night City. Night City is definitely fucking tough. So, alright, there you go, guys. There's Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast with the summer 2019 updates. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, everybody.